we will be joined by the city manager here momentarily on KCMO Talk Radio. And as we get set for that conversation, the police department budget obviously is something that is getting a ton of attention because they want 420 mil. The city's offering them about 360. Talked to the mayor yesterday about this, and the mayor alluded to the fact that basically they're paying out too many lawsuits. And he wants to see some tort reform down in Jeff City when it comes to law enforcement, the police department, and how much money people can get out of these lawsuits. That may be part of it, but I'm hearing two sides of the story here where the police department's saying, hey, we got to take care of these pensions that are not fully funded. So here's Mario Vasquez on KCMO, city manager in the city of Kansas City, Missouri on KCMO Talk Radio. Mario, good morning. This budget yesterday, let's start with the police department. They want more, obviously. It doesn't seem like you're all that close. You're about $60 million apart. Why did you guys come in at 360 when the department wants 420?
Good morning, Pete. Good morning to your listeners. Thank you for having me on. I don't think the request was 420 to start with. I think they had a budget request of about $50 million more than over last year, and I think we were able to achieve what we presented yesterday, which is about a $17 million increase over last year's budget, which still represents about 26.5% of our general fund budget. What the budget is doing with the police department is allocating additional, 50 for additional 50 officers, allocating for college and dispatch folks. We have to provide a pension. There are, of course, increases in healthcare. Those are being allocated in the budget. And we have this one little thing in the current year, which is, it doesn't happen every year, but there's a 27th pay period in next fiscal year for the police department. That amounts to about $6.7 million. That's included in the budget as well. So I think overall, we work pretty hard with the chief and trying to identify what things we can do and how to meet the budget. Of course, there's always ongoing needs for everybody, but between the chief and the board, I think we're able to put together something that is going to serve the police department.
So I saw here the budget adds about 200 new positions, largely for public safety. So you said 50 new cops is in that 200. What else is in that 200 for the new positions you want to hire out?
So one of the things that we are working on, and it's been a need in the city of Kansas City for a long time, is the construction of a new municipal jail. Over the past several years, we have been contracting out with Vernon County and Johnson County for detention facilities for municipal violations. And now I think that the community has rallied around building a jail facility. So we are building one right now at Front Street. We'll call it a temporary facility. It has it will have about 139 beds. That kind of an operation it's a 24/7 operation. So we need guards, we need medical care, we need a variety of different folks to be able to provide a proper care for the people that are part of our responsibility. So about 148 people, 148 positions are included in the budget.
So 148 jobs are for this temporary jail that you're opening up here in the next few months.
Correct.
Okay.
Understanding that we are also going to build a permanent facility.
Yes,
so
yes.
It is something that we need to transition on forward.
Now, let me ask you then, that temporary jail that's going to be, up and running before the World Cup, is that expected to basically stay open for the entire year?
Oh, I think, once it's open, it's going to be open until the new facility is constructed. So easily, it's going to take about 3 years to construct a permanent facility.
Okay.
So it's going to take a while it's going to be in service for a while.
Now, are you saving money by not having to ship inmates out to Vernon and Johnson County?
No, it's an additional expense. But I think.
Well, how are you not saving money though? If you're, not saving overall, but how is it not now also saving money on shipping people out to those counties?
Because currently we pay, I think, $75 per inmate at Vernon and Johnson counties. We have altogether 175 beds at both facilities combined. And we have at staffing level for us. I think we'll do transport. That's all we do. So our operation, as it relates to detention today and corrections, is pretty small. I think our current budget's about $6 million, and it's going to once we're up and running with the permanent facility, our budget is going to increase to like $26 million.
When the permanent facility is up.
Even when the temporary is up.
Oh, okay. When the temporary is up. I see what you're saying there. All right.
Yeah.
So all these 200 jobs, 50 cops, and then 150 for the temporary jail that you're opening up here in the next. When does that open up?
We're targeting a June 1 opening, and I am currently I'm working furiously. And if you remember, all this came about last May. You know, when I started, the very first thing that the council wanted is we need to have a facility now. We were able to get in construction very quickly, and now I'm in the process of hiring the people that are going to be running this facility. I need some time to train. I need some time to make sure that they understand the basics of safety, de-escalation, medical care, those kinds of the various different skills that come into play when you have to manage one of these things.
Gotcha. All right. Mario Vasquez is here, the Kansas City, Missouri city manager. So the budget still has a deficit of $50 million. I did see, though, and the mayor noted this as well, that, you guys do have a nice rainy day fund that is sitting at $268 million. I know you want to have a rainy day fund, but what's that fine line between saying, hey, we're running a $50 million deficit while at the same time we got $250 million sitting in a rainy day fund?
Well, we're targeting our fund balance at about $218 million. That's what we're trying to keep. I think we got to be careful about the meaning of having a rainy day fund. We obviously, number one, the purpose of that is we borrow money from other people to do the things that we do, our bonds, and so our credit is impacted if we don't have a healthy fund balance to be able to meet our obligations. So that's why it's important to keep it there. And during COVID, we didn't have much of a fund balance back then, and we did a lot of furloughs and things of that nature to be able to meet our obligations. So I hear what you're saying. We should just be net zero, but we also need to maintain a fund balance. Ultimately, I think the goal, like in any business, is both to cut expenses and increase revenue. And I'm very much the kind of person that wants to increase revenue and grow the economy as best as we can, so we don't have to have these kinds of deficits.
Mario Vasquez on KCMO. All right, I do want to ask you, of course, listen, this is the topic of what has been the last couple of weeks here in Kansas City. And while you're not a political person, you're not an elected official per se, with all this drama around the proposed ICE detention facility in South Kansas City, we saw yesterday, of course, Platform Ventures, the company that owns that building, saying, hey, we're not going to sell to the U.S. government. They also said that they have had threats against themselves and their families. And then last night we saw a woman she did light a fire in this warehouse in South Kansas City. As the city manager, as someone who is a face of this city and this community, trying to obviously grow it and bring business to it, how do you think all this makes the city look?
Well, I think, for one, I'll probably speak to the. I did see the video of the woman trying to light the facility on fire, and that's just unacceptable, right? I mean, that is unacceptable of any facility. We don't accept that, regardless of what the facility is. Just the destruction of private property is unacceptable. I would, but you got to keep in mind that when Platform Ventures took ownership of the property there at Richards Cabauer, and it was a transaction done by the Port Authority. So I think there's a lot going on there, but ultimately our objective there was to try to bring industrial jobs, to increase our tax base that way. So I think to the extent that we're not meeting up with that expectation, I think we were just trying to hold everybody up to the original intent, which is to grow the economy, to bring industrial jobs. It is an industrial area for a reason, and that's how we designed it almost 20 years ago now. So, one, always going to protect private property, but also I'm going to make sure that people hold up to the end of the bargain when it comes to growing jobs in Kansas City.
All right, Mario Vasquez on KCMO. Thank you, Mario. We appreciate the time. We'll see how the budget plays out.
Thank you, Pete.